And now we shall boldly go where no nerd has gone before. And I don't mean second base.
Activate Technology News segment starting now.
It's time for Tech Bytes on Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Lively.
He is a smart man. He is a technology expert for KPRC Radio. He travels around Houston in a DeLorean. He flies a drone. That reminds me, Johnny Hamburger, are you there right now? Can you hear our voice out there in space?
I think I'm here. I'm picking you up loud and clear.
He actually communicates with us from another dimension.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
That's exciting.
Johnny Hamburger, tell me, is it true that people are brewing beer on the moon?
They are brewing beer on the moon. Let me just say real quick, I think climate change is real based on all the snowflakes we're getting in Texas.
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct. That's correct. The climate is changing. He's right.
But yeah, something more fun. Yeah, I say we like I have anything to do with it. We're gonna brew some beer on the moon. It's not we're not setting up a whole lab. Like the first moon base isn't going to be a brewery, although that would be
That would be awesome.
Pretty awesome, if not frivolous. But yeah, these group of I think UC San Diego students are going to send a self-contained. It's about the size of a Coke can, and one part of it contains just unfermented beer. So they're kind of speeding up the process a little bit, and the other side contains the yeast. So they're going to send it up with a bunch of other experiments from other colleges on a lunar lander, and it's going to be on a timed kind of release, the little membrane between the two. And they're going to study the fermentation process on the moon.
That's interesting.
These are college kids?
These are college kids. They're younger than us.
Of course they are.
They're sending stuff to the moon. So at first it was kind of a joke. They were figuring out, like, well, let's brew some beer on the moon. We'll just submit this thing and see what happens. But they can actually figure out a lot of stuff, how the fermentation process on the moon could lead to lunar bread, how to make food with, using yeast on the moon.
That's true. That's valid. You're right.
What are they doing for oxygen?
Well,
it's all self-contained.
Okay, because you can't have fermentation without oxygen.
Yeah, that's right. You got to oxidate. That's what it is. Yeah. So, So, would you drink the beer?
On a dare? Depends how much money. Yeah,
why not? Why wouldn't you drink it? You don't think they know what they're doing? They sent a spacecraft to the moon.
Yeah,
that
still doesn't mean they're good brewers.
Yeah, you're right, but they probably figured that part out.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They probably bought a kit for that.
I would drink it. I would drink it personally. All right.
Moon beer.
Johnny,
awesome.
One of the biggest...
Lunar lager.
One of the biggest marketing disasters of the year, one of the PR nightmares of the last year, is every time you get on an airplane, they tell you, remember, folks, Samsung Galaxy Note 7s are not allowed on this plane. And, of course, we all know why, because they were exploding. But why were they exploding? Does anyone know?
So they figured out, by the way, I think they've got like 97% of the phones bought have been officially turned in. So, the recall went out. So
somebody still has a phone? That's unbelievable.
Right, and I think they're all terrorists. So if you see someone with a Note 7, they're basically wanted by the FBI at this point.
You might be right. That's a dead sign.
That's a dead sign right there.
And I also wondered,
there's still some people.
And I also wondered, they have those 3D goggle things you could put on, the virtual reality goggles. What if What if someone did that? So what's
exfoliate?
So what's the story with that, Johnny?
Okay, so they figured it out, and it's kind of what I suspected all along. It's just a short circuit in the battery. They make these phones so small and so compact that they put the batteries in there, and the case kind of squeezes the battery around.
Okay.
So some contacts and wires in the battery were getting folded and kind of kinked a little bit. So it caused the short circuit, and with those lithium-ion batteries, it creates a chain reaction, blah, 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 and now your leg is on fire. So that's what happened there. They're being very open. Samsung is being very open and candid about it. So they're trying to prevent it in the future. They've developed a new stringent testing program that basically uses X-rays and all sorts of high-tech, ways to non-destructively and destructively test the batteries in the future to prevent this from ever happening again. And hopefully other manufacturers take note, although other manufacturers haven't had the same frequency of combustion as Samsung has. But they're being very open about it, and it's an act of goodwill towards consumers that, hey, we messed up. Here's why we messed up. Here's what we're doing in the future to hopefully lead the industry in testing procedures to prevent this from ever happening.
Yeah,
again.
that's classic crisis management. Yeah.
Right.
Sure is.
No, seriously, that's exactly what you do.
That's all you can do.
Right.
We've heard all these. I've heard recently that people are using drones to do graffiti. Is this a real thing?
It is. It's a real thing. I almost don't want to say the artist, because what he's doing right now isn't. It doesn't look like art. Okay, it maybe looks like modern art. You know, when you see graffiti and murals and stuff, like, oh wow, that's really cool. Even though it's illegal, that's like, that guy has some talent.
Sure.
So this guy used a modified Phantom 2, DJI Phantom 2. It's basically this flying apparatus with a spray paint can on it. And the first thing he did with this drone graffiti can or spray paint can thing it was a typical anti-Trump whatever that you can barely read. I mean, it's basically he's proving his concept. But could you imagine, like, looking at the side of a facade and just seeing a bunch of little drones buzzing around?
It would be very weird.
Yeah,
I saw online an image of, I guess it's from Soho, California, and I guess there was a big mural of Kylie Jenner or Kendall. I don't know which of the two it is. It's a Calvin Klein's jeans ad, and there's graffiti on it in the weirdest place, and you wonder, how could somebody access? Well, apparently it was high-tech vandalism, or at least that's what's being claimed by a news outlet out there. Any truth to that?
I haven't seen that story, but it sounds. Graffiti artists are acrobats, or they can fly. I don't know how they get to the places that they get. Like, you know, when you're driving down 59 or whatever, and you see these on the sides of overpasses. Like,
yes.
How did they do that?
Right. Were they dangling over the side? Was it a big ladder? Did they have a jetpack? Now you don't need ladders or jetpacks. You just have drones.
How long until we see somebody use a drone to spray paint on the Statue of Liberty, or, you know, the Empire State Building, or something like that?
Shoot. Within 5 years, I'm predicting. They're going to put a mustache on the Statue of Liberty.
Something like that will happen, right? I mean, we're not encouraging people to do it. We're just predicting it. I feel like someone will do something like that.
We'll just try that, but I think on the Statue of Liberty, they'll probably shoot it out of the sky
before
it'll get there. But I think the Empire State Building, I'm sure why haven't they done it yet?
Or what would they hit here in Houston? What do you guys think?
What are they getting here?
They could go
Williams?
do
Willows?
they could do Williams Tower.
Williams Tower,
What would be awesome though is if they would go spray paint the top of NRG Stadium.
That would be interesting too. Yeah.
I was thinking in Beaumont, the monument there in Beaumont, that'd be pretty easy thing to get with the drone.
Or
Sam Houston up in Huntsville.
All right, now we're just going to give these people ideas.
Now we're just giving you ideas.
All right, his name is Johnny Hemberger. He is the tech expert, not only for Pursuit of Happiness Radio, but for KPRC. He's a brilliant man. Johnny, where can people check out your stuff online?
Twitter at TechByte950 and on YouTube. TechByte950. That's Byte with a Y.
Follow Johnny Hemberger. He is the official technology expert of Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
Hold up, ain't nothing wrong with the radio station, man. You got the right station. It's something special. It's called Pursuit of Happiness Radio, hosted by Ken Webster Jr., a.k.a. producer Kenny. You heard me? Say, man, don't touch that radio again. I'll bust your ass. You want your ass whooped?